Right, good morning, welcome back to the channel in what is, I think, a very exciting day, because today we're going to review not one but three new sets of irons from PXG. And although these are incredible in terms of their individual performance, I think PXG have introduced something in terms of the technology, the setup of these irons that hasn't yet been achieved from any other manufacturer. And I genuinely believe it is a game changer. So this is PXG Gen08 irons. We've now got three options in these irons. We've got the T, which is the smaller profile. We've got the P, the player's model, sits in the middle. And then we've got the XP, which is the bulkier game improvement version. So every type of golfer can play any of these irons and will optimize his performance. And that's key to what we're going to discuss later on in this video, optimizing performance in these irons like never seen before. So let's kick things off with a quick comparison of my own performance inside on TrackMan this morning. And I just want to take a look at the two 7 irons at the different ends of the scale. That's the T, the tall model, first of all. Now this 7 iron, as a barometer we always use, is lofted at 32 degrees, so very much more or closer to that traditional type of loft. It performs in and around the 145 to 150 yard mark, which is exactly where I'd expect it to be at that kind of loft. But the thing I really like in terms of performance is that combination of high launch, spin is being maintained at a good number, and then we've got that very steep descent angle. So it's doing what you would expect to see from a tour type product. It's also performing with good ball speed relevant to clubhead speed. Skip the P for the minute, we'll go straight to the XP, and you'll see the jump up in, first of all, carry distances. The way that's achieved first and foremost is the fact that it's 5 degrees stronger, so it's a 27 degree 7 iron. Very strong, but compared with that low CG is meaning it's still launching the ball incredibly high. What's really impressive from this type of iron is the fact that it's also maintaining a really good spin number, and you'll also see that combination of descent angle means that even in this iron, which is carrying up to the sort of 165 mark, so a huge leap in terms of carry distance, is still maintaining spin and coming down at a really good descent angle. Now, without testing all three, we're going to assume that the P is going to sit somewhere in between all of those. But essentially, the main difference being is the loft. Loft has been the determining factor as to the distance carried, but it's great to see that even that XP model, other parameters are being maintained. Now, that's performance indoors. The question is, which model did I choose and why?
So we ended up in the new T iron.
Yeah.
So we've re-released this in the series, so it's back.
Yeah.
So it matches the P and the XP, so it could be blended seamlessly.
Yeah.
But ultimately you're comfortable with it. We saw a little more consistency, a little better turf interaction.
Yeah.
I know you're working on a swing change. You're not really going to have to change the bones, so you're probably still going to swing your speed. You're still going to kind of swing your speed, but as we get your plane and path worked out, we're probably going to take it from a little more upright to a little flatter. We may rearrange the rates. Right now we got them a little heel weighted, kind of help straighten out that cut. You kind of hit a little pull cut. You're working to flatten it out, so that'll probably start with some blocks and some shoves, and then just turn some draws, and then
we can make a change.
It kind of narrows, and then so we won't have to rebuild the club. We would just ultimately have to flatten the lie angle to kind of match your progression. So that could even be done in stages. Like,
let's see how the swing change goes first.
That's the work you've got to do, right? Like,
I'm happy with where we're at. No, I understand, but I think it's a key message, and I think PXG particularly have this ability to change, not only that lie angle, but also the head weights as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially with the new one, we have 2 weights. So we get to move mass heel and toe, which is the first time in an iron that's able for us to do that easy. So that really opens up another level of fitting that we haven't had before. And I think it's going to make it easier to control that ball flight as you make the change.
Towel round neck as if I've just done 15 rounds, because I don't know, 35, 36 degrees it's warm. I'm melting right now, but I just wanted to get you my initial feel from the fit. I'll be honest with you, I knew nothing about what was going on or what was being launched at this event. So it was quite nice, really, no preconception. So Gen 8 irons, and one of the first noticeable things was that split in the weight. So it's always been a central weight at the back of the face. And the immediate thing that felt different for me was we've got real good feel. Going back sort of Gen 3 type feel, if you like, for me, as I recall. I don't know whether that's to do with the moving of that weight from directly behind the head, and I'll find out more technical detail because it literally arrived on the range, hit balls, and I like it because it just got a very sort of natural kind of feedback. So these are hollow-bodied irons filled with a polymer known as quantum core. You see a dual weighting system and some internal tungsten weighting, and the body is 5 times forged. 12 grams of weight is situated at the heel and toe, but both can be changed to significantly alter ball flight. This is huge when you consider how much driver fitting relies on this technology, and it is now in an iron. If you look inside of the heads of each model, you'll see the iron on the left is the Gen 7 with the center weight, and the right image is the new Gen 8, and it clearly shows the polymer directly behind that impact location, or the difference of it at least. This allows more flex in the face and far softer feel. The internal tungsten weighting varies in weight within each iron set to optimize performance. Here are some images which show the difference in head size and profile between the 3 models. As expected, they increase in overall size progressively from the T model, which is the tall model, right the way through to the XP. Finally, here's a breakdown of the loft and spec differences between those 3 options. If you're really interested, hit the pause button and have a good read through them all. Right, so out on the golf course, we've took the clubs out onto Hollywell Golf Club. We've tried some long irons, some mid irons, and on that short end of the bag. So what are my thoughts now in a real environment? Well, pretty much what we've seen indoors was replicated out, like the ball flight of each of the irons. Really interested in the fact that I can, if I chose to, I could go to that 5 iron with this set of irons. You'll notice from the chat we had over in Arizona that I opted to go with the T model, which was kind of like the better players club, if you like, and I'm not suggesting that that's me by any means, but I was really comfortable with it. I like the smaller blade type, narrower top line, narrower sole, and more traditional in terms of the loft. So a little bit shorter, simply because of the loft, but in terms of that ball flight, spin number, descent angle, meant that I could still go up to that 5 iron, like I said, if I chose to. We've got a couple of hybrids mixed in there as well, and that's something to work out in the season going ahead. But for me, it was touched on over in Arizona, but I want to reiterate this point that what we can't ignore is that people get really excited about driver technology over the last 10 or 15 years because of its adjustability. The amount of movable weight that is in a driver means that custom fit, or the custom fit process, you can really get dialed in, get the club spot on. But you've never really had that option with irons. There has been adjustments you can make, loft, lie angle, but you've never really been able to shift significant weight between that heel and toe area. So I think this is the first move that we've seen from a manufacturer that has introduced that to irons. Now, it's done a couple of things. One, it has meant that the custom fit process is even more dialed in. But I also think it means that the irons have got more longevity in your game. And what I mean by that is this. I'm a typical example of right now going for a custom fit when I'm in the middle of a change swing could be questionable. And I was concerned, what do I get custom fit for? My old swing or my new swing, and will that new swing ever develop, or will I end up back with the old one? So I was unsure about what to do, but as was discussed with Justin, the ability here was the fact that we can make changes as I go along. So in a year or two from now, if my swing does develop, then I can start to make changes to this club to suit the swing that I've got now. And that's really hugely important. It's a massive investment that we make into golf clubs. You want them to last you a good few years, but you also want to know that if you make changes with your swing, you're able to make some changes to the clubs. So that for me is a huge bonus point as well. I think it's what we're going to see from more and more manufacturers. They're going to follow suit. They're going to make sure that they can adapt their irons much in the same way as they've been adapting drivers for quite a number of years now. Overall, summary, dead simple. PXG have produced their best iron for quite some time, in my opinion. I think the big deal in terms of the sound and feel is perhaps that moving of that central weight. You'll see, and I mentioned it earlier, the amount of foam that is behind that central hitting position is very, very different. So for me, naturally, you would assume the sweet spot to be that little bit softer. It certainly feels that way out on the golf course. And this idea, this new concept of 2 shiftable weights is a game changer. It's as simple as that. So if you're in the market for a set of irons, my recommendation would be quite simple. Try the PXG custom fit process, try the Gen 8 irons, and as ever, give me your feedback down in that comment section below. This is our first look. We've hit a few shots out on the golf course. I will of course be doing plenty more with these in the weeks ahead, hopefully when it warms up a little. Thank you for watching. That's me done from a slightly colder than Arizona Holywell, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.